Welcome to another week of Attaining the World's Beyond Review. We have 15 minutes review today, and we're going to be reviewing chapter 19. In chapter 19, the title is Spiritual Levels, and it's a very interesting chapter, very in-depth. We're not going to review the entire chapter today because we've already been having conversation behind the scene that it is very, very in-depth, and it will make sense for us to discuss this again next week. So far, what I glean from this chapter, spiritual levels obviously talks about what the creator created. And Dr. Lightman started off by saying that creation is made up of four parameters, one being world, the other being time, then soul, and the sources of existence. But then world is defined. And for me, as I stuck with this point, I had to go and check again. What does organic mean? What does inorganic mean? Because world is defined as the entire inorganic universe, and in the spiritual world, it is the organic desire. So for me, that's left an imprint because I began to wonder, okay, what does this actually mean? And it's inorganic. If it's inorganic, what does it mean? It doesn't have physical qualities. It has non-physical quality. That means it is intangible. That means it is what the creator creates at the spiritual level is what we started off with this book, actually, which is the quality of altruism. And then it talks about souls, and then I suddenly got stuck there again. What is soul? Because we previously talked about soul in previous chapters, so I had to go back there and check. Well, now we're talking about soul as if souls are organic things. So again, it does a lot, kind of, there's a lot of pausing, and you have to begin to pause and look at what this definition actually are so that you can get a full picture of what is actually created. But I won't spoil it. I want others to speak. So I will hand you over to Francis. Tell me what you think about the chapter, and then we'll carry on the discussion.
Yeah, just like you, I also feel like chapter 19 is a bit more deep, you know. It's not a chapter just one can just read once and feel like, oh, I've got it. No, this is really deep. Because most of these things we have covered in the previous chapters before 19. But as you said, the way he handles the topics of time, soul, world, and the source of existence, he takes it a notch higher. Is a higher level of revelation. And also, my impression reading through all this is we are not here by accident. Nothing is here by accident. Everything that what we are, what we feel, what we see around us, the so-called reality, physical reality that is around us, everything has been given intricate thought and plan. And as such, there is nothing that is here by accident. There's nothing here that's here by chance. That is the impression that I got first, reading through the first page of chapter 19. Delis?
Okay.
I do like what you've said that we've seemed to have shifted to a higher level. And as you were speaking, Francis, I thought about the previous chapters as well. And I realized the way that we experienced the previous chapters was more with this kind of sensation of how you as an individual will kind of start relating with the environment around you, start perceiving how you might be interacting and what your role might be. That was kind of the flow. And then we ended up with a magician, and that he wants us to become like him, to come closer to him. And then we move into chapter 19, and it suddenly tells us a little glimpse once again of how we have to move up these levels, these different worlds that are spoken of. And that comes on page 2 or 3 of this chapter, where it mentions the worlds. I think, Sheila, the first summary that you made there, even of that first paragraph, I think it might just blow people's minds away. So I'll just repeat it, which is that the entire creation are made of four parameters: time, soul, world, and the source of our existence. And then it goes on. And all of this is regulated by the will and the wishes of the Creator. And that's it. This is the plan. And they define source of existence as the plan for governing all of creation. The plan of governing all of creation. I would love to carry on, but I think we'll just do a rotation and go to the next level. Gottfried.
Thanks, Darius. Beautifully said. Further to that, I also want us to look at the four phases. He said it's so simple, so unique. So that the Azurite is the world in which those present are completely unified with the Creator. Make it so simple that the other world there is those present who are connected, have connection with the Creator. And then you see, I said that those present who can perceive the Creator. And then the last world where we are, it says that those present who are almost completely do not perceive the Creator at all. And now that the lowest where we are is a world where, I mean, we are removed far away from the Creator. And then, so the forward has been so simplified that this first page gives us the desire to learn of the Creator, the concealment, which we have already learned in the early pages. Now you try to reveal it more, and then he dropped them page by page from density. He lower himself down until our world where you cannot perceive him at all. But those who aspire to become him are able to attain. And this is a very beautiful thought, beautiful level, beautiful revelation for his creatures to understand and to know him. Shira.
Okay, so I remember when I was reading this, I like to, I'm a visionary person. I like seeing things in pictures, and I see things better and understand things better in pictures. And I had this beautiful picture in my mind that's okay, so the Creator created world, time, soul, and source of existence. And then it says, so time is the cause and effect, progressive development of the desires, and it talks about the soul being organic. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to try and picture what the Creator is. I'm like, okay, the Creator is omnipotent, omnipresent, it's all around, but it created this thing called world, and the book talks about it then withdrew itself, almost like take himself away from from everything that's been created, which is its own existence, and now there's this space left, and this space now becomes creation, and creation now has now been defined as organic because it has something in its own desire which is different from what the Creator is, i.e. its own desire is to receive, and that's what we've been talking about. It's about this egoistic desire, and that's what makes it different from creation, from the Creator. Okay, fine. Then this bit to do with the plan. I'm like, okay, so it built plans of how this creature will develop back to where it started off. Fine. So where are these worlds? What are they? Now I begin to look at the picture thinking, okay, so now all these creatures have no lights, or maybe just a little spark of light, and they're in this world called Asia. And that's where it's like putting them in this world, but then it didn't just leave them there. It gave them the opportunity to come to another world gradually upwards called Atzilut. And what is Kabbalah? It defined neatly that Kabbalah is the means by which the lights gradually begin to come downwards to pull the creatures back upwards. And I thought, what a brilliant system the Creator created. But I'm not going to talk about my next diagram yet because I had another diagram that I had to pull. So I think for me, once I see this picture, I just think, oh, so this is the totality. There's a plan, there is differences in quality, but there is also a gradual ladder to come into these different worlds, which has consciousness of the creator, or that one doesn't have consciousness, or this one has some consciousness, and this one unifies. And so, fine, let's move on with the conversation because there's a lot to learn with what was created. I could see Delise want to go, Mom, you just pulled my string all around there already.
Phyllis,
Maybe
go
we should
ahead. You
hand
can go
over to
ahead.
Delise.
No, please, Francis. I look forward to hearing your point, and then I'll go. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, all I wanted to say was from what Sheila was saying, what actually hit me reading or sort of reflecting over everything that we have been reading and all the materials available to us, through the source of the teaching that we have, is that we're going through an eternal loop. Is a loop that originates from the Creator, and then as souls, we journey through this, and eventually He gives us the permission, or He gives us the direction to be able to go back in a loop to the source where we started the journey. That's how I felt. So I have written down something here in a book that I do sort of write my thoughts and sort of feelings, that this is an eternal divine loop. From the Creator, we go through all kinds of things. As he said, there's a portion where he says, from birth, a person, does not perceive the Creator at all. There's no perception of the Creator. But by his own machinations, by his own design, he brings us to a point, as you're saying, where he rises up from one level of consciousness to another and another and another on a journey through this life way back to the Creator. And it's beautifully designed that this is all taking place inside the person. It takes place inside the person. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. Yeah. Delise?
Thank you, Francis. You took every single word I wanted to say and you said it all. So I will try and summarize that part again from thus far. So we spoke about the four worlds and that, we are removed and the light is diminished until we get to this world. So just to do the recap for our audience, the lowest world, Asiya, do not perceive the creator. So let's just remember this is a relationship with the creator, the creature, and the creator. Asiya, don't perceive the creator. Next level, Yetzira, perceiving of the creator. Beriah, connecting with the creator. And finally, the upper level, Atzilut, where you are completely united with the creator. And what drives you is this desire to receive, which will be shifted to the desire to bestow, because you are going to ask the creator for his assistance. And that's how the journey starts. Gottfried?
Yeah, thanks. The journey starts exactly the way you said it, because the Creator puts Himself inside you, and therefore you are now going back, returning back to the Father, and then therefore you yearn for Him. You feel not so connected. You feel separated. You feel the ego, and then you want to acquire His bestowal, His nature. That yearning now will bring you step by step to learn of His ways. That is why we are here. We then share and then find out what is His qualities of bestowal here. Is so kind, His love, is all the qualities you can imagine. So to perceive Him where He is in the upper world, it is where you now have to limit yourself from your state of egoistic state, where you are I, you cancel it all, then it becomes love, 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 we. Then you find that everything becomes easier, beautiful, because now you begin to share. You now, a new world unfold as you move from one level to the to the next, and then you become a new person. So in the
Okay.
Creator, in Himself, revealing Himself. There,
Thank
Sarah.
you.
Sheila, you're not going to speak yet because I know you're going to set us up for next week because it's so exciting now. We've literally laid the stage for how are we going to do this? And that's the next part of this chapter. Over to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just going to summarize to say that when it comes down to it, for me, the summary of what we talked about today is understanding of what is created. Because once we have a good grasp of how the world is created that we are in, we understand the dynamics that's going on in this world, and we also understand what the creator's intent for this world is. We begin to see the world not as a problematic world, but a world in which we're given the option to come back upwards. And if when we are resisting coming back upwards, then we feel the world as we are in a sphere, suffering, problems. But I want to give hope to the audience, that we want to give you hope to say that there is another world beyond our world, and that world is called Atzilut, and that's where this book takes us. So until next week, we will come back and talk about more about the four worlds from Asia to Atzilut and the challenges that we have to overcome to get there so that we understand why we go through what we go through. Thank you for watching, and until next week, see you again next week.